I'm heading back down to the Meadows for a final street cafe this week. This one is run by a local church rather than between churches, so I want to find out a bit more about how that works.
It's a bit of a damp morning this morning, but we're here as a local church, King's Church, Edinburgh. We're out here about 3 Saturdays a month, and we do this for a couple of reasons. We're out here to care for people, but we're also out to give people the opportunity to discuss the Christian faith. To be honest, there's another reason I'm here as well, and that's to train up different people who come along to our church in how they can speak about Jesus, and we've found it quite effective for that purpose. I've written a course called Share Life, and this is just 4 sessions that we do in our kind of meet in homes, and we discuss with people how to speak about Jesus and the change that he's made in our lives. But the most effective way to train people, I find, is to bring them out. And we used to just kind of wander around here in the Meadows in Edinburgh, a handful of us. But since we started the street cafe, we've got about 20 people in the church involved in this street cafe. They'd come out maybe about once a month. Some would come a couple of times a month. And they initially come along perhaps to help serve the tea and coffee, but many of them, before you know it, they also are telling their story. I would say the most common comment from my friends in the church would be, do you know, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. And I don't know quite what they were thinking, but I find that people are open, particularly young people are really open to talk about the Lord Jesus. And we found the street cafe is a culturally appropriate way both to train people and to care for people in the street and to speak to them about the Lord Jesus.
I initially came to help to serve coffee and tea because I thought that's something I would know how to do. And then, I mean, Edinburgh is a very cosmopolitan city, and then I'm French. I very quickly met people who had something in common with me, either being French or being Catholic before, and I could share my story with them, and then it's really a lovely way of sharing the good news of Jesus, and you really feel you're having a conversation, a very normal conversation, but you plant the seed of who Jesus is and what he's done for us, and you're hoping that they might reach to that seed at some point, because that's often what I say, is often one reaches for Jesus when life throws things at you which are not particularly pleasant. And I find it very interesting because you meet people mostly. You speak to them, you share, you've got a joyful conversation, and the coffee, the hot chocolate helps to make that environment, and it's lovely.
So my background and where I grew up, and we had like lots of people being active in evangelism, and it wasn't something that I saw here. But anyways, I and a group of other people from my church, King's Church, we started going out on the street, and we were only about 4, and we remained 4 for a long time. And we would usually just approach people on the street and, start up a conversation with them and bring it back to the gospel and just preach the gospel to them. And then we've been praying for more people to come in and join us in the gospel work. But it was maybe like few will pop in, but that's about it. But since we started doing the street cafe, we've seen lots more people join us from the church, and then we've also seen more people responding. It's an easier way to connect with them, and because they're also coming up to you and then they're asking you why you're doing what you're doing, and it just bridges that gap more easily. And I think it's a really good way to preach the gospel and to share the love of Jesus and to build community. Also, it gives you the opportunity to speak to various people from different ethnic backgrounds, and I'm happy to be a part of it, and I hope you will join us too. Thank you.